Impossible for a person to achieve great things if their age is wasted. Today, if we eat with our children, we show them to finish all the food on their plate, take just enough, and nothing should be left, not even a grain of rice, because the Prophet said, we don't know where the blessing lies. This is what we teach, because wastefulness is the friend of Satan. We say even one grain of rice wasted is too much, but we don't say our life is wasted. We throw away our time, yet we don't consider it wasteful. Just as we say a single grain of rice wasted is too much, we must rethink our approach. This is the greatest waste, our time. When we waste our life, we must ask, what are we using our time for? Truly, when do we do things? What do we achieve? We must ask those whose lives are blessed and productive. Rasulullah sallallahu alaihi wasallam. I want to start with the issue of waking up. Tonight we rest. Tomorrow morning we wake up. At what time do we wake up? 3, 4, 5, 12. Whatever our answer, if it's still by the clock, it's wrong. Because the faithful are directly taught by revelation about when to wake up. The 24 hours are interconnected. If one link breaks, everything else falls apart. We must fix things one by one. Rasulullah sallallahu alaihi wasallam's waking up is guided directly by the Quran, meaning it's not a trivial matter. The Quran doesn't discuss trivialities. It speaks of significant matters. So, if the Quran discusses when to wake up, it's not a small issue. So, don't underestimate it. When should you wake up? Is there a verse? Yes. يا أيها المزمل قم الليل إلا قليلا نصفه أو انقص منه قليلا أو زد عليه ورتل القرآن ترتيلا. O you who wraps himself in clothing, arise to pray the night, except for a little, half of it, or subtract from it a little, or add to it, and recite the Quran with measured recitation. So the issue of waking up has its basis in the Quran. Qumil layla, arise to pray in the night. This was commanded to the Prophet. When was this command given? In the middle of the night. It's simple, because the night starts with the azan of Maghrib and ends with the azan of Subuh. Divide that by 2, and you get the middle of the night. By the middle of the night, the Prophet was already awake, while we were just going to bed. That's our first mistake. So, brothers and sisters, I want you to hold a pen and a piece of paper. For each point, mark it as right or wrong. Hopefully we don't get everything wrong. Parents, your score should be at least an 8. Children, a 5 is not passing. The problem is, with life, there are no retests. Once it's over, it's over. So, Rasulullah sallallahu alaihi wasallam was commanded by Allah to wake up in the middle of the night. In the middle of the night, brothers and sisters, that command was for the Prophet. The address in the verse is singular, for one person, O you who wraps himself. But did his followers need to wake up at night? Yes, the Prophet sallallahu alaihi wasallam in an authentic hadith mentioned the latest time for the morning wake up. Do you know when? The latest time according to Rasulullah is at the first azan, which is before the azan as-subuh. The time gap is about the time it takes to read 50 verses, approximately 10 minutes, 15 at most. The first azan is roughly 15 minutes before subuh, the latest time to wake up. The Prophet explained the function of the first azan, لِيَرْجِئْكُمْ وَيُقِيكُمْ, so that those who have been awake all night in prayer may rest. Rest immediately. After subuh, he should perform the witr prayer and rest again. The first azan reminds those who've been praying all night to rest, and those still sleeping to wake up. For believers, there is no concept of oversleeping. Yes, it happened occasionally due to extreme fatigue, even for the Prophet during jihad. But if it happens daily, it's not okay. There's even a fiqh ruling on this. When a person wakes up, he prays. So, brothers and sisters, the matter of when the Prophet woke up was regulated, and we were taught by him that believers should wake up no later than 10 minutes before subuh. This allows time for witted prayer or maybe a couple of rak'ats. But the real issue is not when to wake up, but when to sleep. When did the Prophet sleep? We need to instill this in our families. When did he say we should sleep? The Prophet did not like sleeping before Isha, nor did he like staying up late after Isha. Since we've passed Isha, let's conclude our session. Except for urgent matters of the Muslim community, staying up late is not the norm. You can test what I've shared today with any field, medicine, psychology, any discipline. Sleep quality after Isha for 4 to 5 hours is vastly different from sleeping at midnight for the same duration. Try sleeping after Isha without an alarm. You'll wake up refreshed by Allah's will before Subh. That's my criticism towards the Middle Eastern friends there. They don't like sleeping after Isha. When I was in Jeddah, right after Subh prayer, it felt like a dead city, especially on weekends. You could sleep on the streets and no one would disturb you. It's not appropriate. That's why, when the centers of revelation are like this, Islam declines. I discussed this with a Quran teacher there. He admitted it's wrong, but blamed modern conveniences. I argued that shouldn't excuse neglecting the Prophet's teachings.
Free Quran Education relies on you. A $10 monthly donation keeps our Islamic content afloat and free for anyone, anywhere, for years to come.